The legend of the sleepless graveyard. It was a chilly October night, the kind where the biting frost nips at your nose and the wind howls like a lonesome wolf. I found myself huddled inside my flimsy jacket, standing before the ornate gate of the sleepless graveyard. Its name was whispered in hushed tones in the village, a name that sent chills down the spines of the bravest men. As a traveler and a folklorist, I had heard countless tales of spectral sightings and paranormal phenomena. And so, driven by an insatiable curiosity and a dash of foolhardiness, I was drawn to this haunted cemetery like a moth to a flame. Stepping onto the sacred grounds, the chill became more profound, seeping through my bones like icy tendrils. I moved deeper into the graveyard, under the waning moon's ghostly light, weaving my path among the weather-worn tombstones, every crunch of the dried leaves echoing in the stillness. Suddenly, an unearthly wailing pierced the silence. It was a mournful sound, oscillating between a hollow wind's whispers and a desperate, pained scream. My heart pounded as I turned, seeking the source. Nothing. But the sound persisted, growing louder and more agonized. Mustering courage, I traced the source of the wailing to an unremarkable gravestone, half hidden in the shadows. As I neared, the wailing abruptly stopped, replaced by an apparitional figure that gradually materialized. It was a woman, clad in antique garb, a palpable sorrow etched onto her spectral visage. Her ethereal eyes met mine, her lips quivering, as she whispered, "Can't sleep, can't rest." Terror seized me, but I was rooted to the spot, my curiosity too potent to ignore. I ventured a question. "Why can't you rest, spirit?" Her ghostly fingers traced the name on the gravestone. "My child," she murmured, her voice hollow yet saturated with grief. "Taken by fever. Buried here, but not here." The meaning of her cryptic words became horrifyingly clear. Her child was buried elsewhere, an innocent lost in the anonymity of unmarked graves, while this empty plot bore their name. The mother, tethered to this unoccupied grave, was doomed to an eternal vigil. "Can I help?" I managed to stutter, my voice barely a whisper against the chilling wind. "Find him! Bring him home!" she implored before dissolving into a cold mist. Dawn found me in the local records office, frantically scouring centuries-old documents. Days turned into weeks, but I eventually discovered the tragic mix-up. A swift illness had claimed many children, and in the ensuing chaos, the bodies and graves were misattributed. I found the name of her child etched on a forgotten tombstone in a distant cemetery, and with the help of the locals, managed to relocate the remains, uniting mother and child at last. Returning to the sleepless graveyard that night, I felt an eerie calm. The phantom figure appeared once more, her sorrowful expression replaced by one of tranquility. "Thank you," she whispered, before slowly fading away, leaving the grave finally at peace. From that night on, the sleepless graveyard fell into a tranquil silence, its spectral inhabitant finally allowed to rest. Yet the legend lived on, a tale to tell around the fireside, of a graveyard that once never slept, and the stranger who dared defy its curse.